Hello and welcome to this screencast. It's going to be a live demonstration on the administration of the English My Way project Year 3. This is especially for the tutors involved and the centre managers in the project. And I'm just going to run through how you manage your learners and keep a record that will inform Tinder Foundation of your progress throughout the project. It's very important that all people involved watch this short demonstration. I'm not going into the teaching materials and the ins and outs of the lesson plans. This is the focus on how you record the information, how you register learners, and how you record their progress throughout the project. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run through how to record the activity and just show you a few features of the website that should help you keep records of the learning that's taken place. So first of all, I'm just going to show you, you should have access to English My Way already. If not, you can create an account at the top right hand corner. I'm just going to sign in. Okay, so it takes you to this first tab, which is labeled Managing New Classes. If you've got classes set up already, there's a handy drop down here of all the classes that are set up for you to look at. I'm going to take you to this tab, Manage Learners. And in this tab, it'll show you all the learners that have been registered to your particular centre. As you can see here, you can add a learner separately, but for the purposes of this presentation, I'm just going to show you how to set up a new class. It's very straightforward, just add the class. It's really up to you what you want to name the class. So just for simplicity, an example might be I might have 3 or 4 classes a week. So I could label them like that and then just put the time of the class in there. This might be beneficial to your centre manager or anyone that's overseeing the project, but it's really up to you how you input this data and use this particular bit of information. So I'm just going to start the date today, and I add the class. So once I've done that, it's prompting me a couple of things. So we set up the class, but we don't have any learners linked to the class or set up in that class yet. So it's prompting me here, do I want to add some learners and register some learners? Okay. So I'm just going to set my learner up as a screencast. 2016. We need to know what their primary language is. Date of birth. You can put the phone number in there, but that's an optional. So if you are a tutor and you're going back to it on a regular basis, you can put the phone number in there, but you don't have to. If you're setting up an individual learner, you can link them back to the class, but because we've just set up a class, this learner is automatically linked to that. So I've added the learner, and I'm just going to scroll to the top. You can see that it's successfully added it. You can go straight to the learner from here to continue inputting the information, or you can go back to manage classes. So you could look for the class, so Rob Sunday. and manage the learners. And there is the screencast tests 2016. You can see quite clearly it gives you an idea of the progress of that learner and whether or not they've completed the questionnaire. So first of all, it is a requirement of the project that the learner questionnaire needs to be filled in full. This comes in two parts. And it needs to be completed very early on in the project. Might be worth, if you can get a bilingual person to help them go through this information. If not, and you haven't got one on hand and it takes a couple of weeks, that's fine. But we do need it completing early on in the project. So I'm just going to quickly go through these questions. They're pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going to bring your attention to question 12 and 14. These questions are aimed at ESOL as a whole, so when you're filling this in, if the learner's current level of English is basic or intermediate, you need to be considering whether they are suitable for this particular project. Again, with question 14, wouldn't expect any more than not confident at the beginning of the project. Okay, so once questions 1 to 15 are completed, you need to scroll to the bottom to save the changes. Can I just point out at this stage that questions 16 through to 19 need to be completed upon the completion of the course. Please don't forget to do this as it is a requirement of the project. Okay, so it's took me to the top again and it's told me that it's saved the information, so always make sure you've saved it. So if I go back to that learner, you can see it's pretty straightforward, 74% complete, so that's the first part of the questionnaire. Again, once you finish the course, you need to go back and complete it with the learner. Okay, so the main requirements for this project is that all of getting started is completed, 9 out of the 11 topics are completed, and the next steps is completed. This is going to be reordered and next steps will be at the bottom. Quick note about the topics. As a tutor, it's really up to you which 9 of those 11 topics are completed. I would say, though, it might be worth doing some of the getting started and understanding your learners to then decide with your learners or however you decide is fit which topics to cover. But for the purposes of completing the project, the learner has to complete all of the getting started, 9 out of these 11 topics, and all of the next steps. Once that's done, if we go back to the Manage Learners area, there's a little bit of information at the top which will tell you how many learners are completed out of the classes. This is really important information as it will give you an indication of how far along you are with the project. If you're unsure of this, please ask your centre manager or the person running the project, and they can contact Tinder Foundation and we can give you an update on where you're at with the project. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to screencast test 2016. I'm just going to fill in a topic just to show you how that works. So it all works the same. So what you'll get is a list of the areas of the topic. If you're not quite sure which area the session is indicating, you can actually click on the link and it'll take you through to the session summary along with the lesson plan, so you understand which part of the project it is referring to, or part of the topic. You can update this as you go along as a tutor. It might take more than one session to cover all this information, so you might wait till the end of the session when everything's completed. You can actually mark all the sessions as complete and it gives today's date. So you could do that and then potentially backdate the bits which were completed on different dates if you like. There's a notes area here. Please note that this is for tutors and centre managers and just to keep your own records of the progress of the learner. Tinder Foundation won't do anything with this particular information. So again, after everything you do, make sure that you save it. Okay, so after saving it, it might be worth just going back to the learner or to the managed learners. And I'm just going to scroll down now here. And as you can see, it says 100% complete. So now you understand how it's completed and that the tutor needs to input that information. Just to reiterate that all of the getting started needs to be 100% complete, all of the next steps, and 9 out of the 11 topics. So the final thing I just want to cover, you may have learners that want to do additional work, so you might set up workshops or additional resources in the centre. You can actually give the learner a username and password. It's very straightforward. So I'm in the learner here. So all you do is create the password, and it gives you the username here. Enter a quick password. Okay, as you can see, the password's been set, and the learner can come into this website. I just need to stress that when the learner logs in, maybe as a tutor have a look yourself, it's just got the basic resources there, things to help them study. There's no access to this information when it comes to the list of learners, so just so you're aware of that. There's nothing to be concerned about. It's just an extra tool should the learner require it, but I do stress that because of the being a pre-ESOL level 1 course, you just need to make sure that you'll be confident with the learner doing that they've got the support necessary in the form of volunteers or other tutors during those sessions. So we've covered the main areas here. Like I said, it's not so much going through the teaching materials, it's more focus on the administration that needs to be done throughout the project. If you have any concerns or issues, please raise it with your centre manager, the leader of the project, and they can come back to Tinder Foundation and we can iron out any issues you might have. Thanks very much.